The three men who are stepping onto the stage may just have made history or not. They may just have secured elusive peace after 30 long, painful, and deadly years of war between Congo and Rwanda or not. Congo's president, Felix Tshisekedi, and Rwanda's president, Paul Kagame, have just signed a peace deal in Washington. This peace deal has been dubbed the Washington Accords. In today's African Awakening show, we will hear from both of them. We will also hear from Donald J. Trump, their host. More importantly, we will look at the peace deal through the eyes of these women, children, and indeed all the innocent and armed civilians of Goma and the entire Eastern Congo region. Donald Trump now has the stage to himself. This is a good time to introduce the people who must be at the center of the stage if this deal is to hold and to endure. These women and children were amongst hundreds and hundreds of civilians who fled Goma when M23 rebels entered Congo's largest eastern city. Have a good look at them. For their entire lives, they have known nothing but war. They have lost hundreds of thousands to this never-ending war. That's why 4th December 2025 should be a historic day for them, a day when peace finally wins. But will it? I will tell you 7 things that must happen if this peace is to hold and to work. But before I tell you the first one, let's listen to Donald Trump.
And very importantly, we're settling a war that's been going on for decades with millions and millions of people killed. And these two gentlemen spent a lot of time backstage talking to each other and over at the Oval Office. We were at the Oval Office together. It was beautiful. And I think it's just a very important day.
Trump just mentioned the first thing that must work. Kagame and Tshisekedi must find a way of working together as peace allies. All of us who care for Congo must understand that for peace to prevail, the two warring parties must stop fighting. These women and children just want peace, and they don't care how it comes or who brings it. They just want peace.
We have come to the U.S. Institute of Peace to sign a historic agreement that will end one of the longest-running conflicts anywhere in the world, with far more than 10 million people killed. Today, we commit to stopping decades of violence and bloodshed and to begin a new era of harmony and cooperation between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda.
Far more than 10 million people, more than 10 million people killed. That's a staggering number. Imagine the entire populations of Botswana, Lesotho, and Namibia being wiped out. That brings me to the second thing that must happen if this peace deal is to hold. That number, 10 million, must be translated from the cold statistic that it is into 10 million stories of those people. We must never forget them. They were musicians, students, doctors, farmers, housewives, masons, babies. We must know their names, their faces, their stories. We mustn't just lump them into one name, 10 million. We must humanize this tragedy in order to remember those that we lost and in order to ensure that those who are still alive can remain alive.
In attendance to celebrate this magnificent event, including the President of Angola. Please, would you stand? And so great to see you. Thank you. The President of Burundi, Thank you very much. Great to see you again. The President of Kenya. We have the Olympics here. You know, they do very well in the Olympics, those runners. I don't know what the heck you do with those runners, but they are very good. I've been watching them for a long time. So we have the Olympics coming to the United States. You know that. Thank you very much. And you'll come as our guest. Thank you. And the President of the Council of Ministers of Togo. Thank you. Thank you very much. The Vice President of Uganda. Thank you. It's such a beautiful color. All these guys are wearing these dark suits. You just stand out for a lot of reasons. You're beautiful. And the Chairman of the African Union Commission, who's done a fantastic job, and thank you for all your help. We appreciate all your help.
There is a third thing that must happen. African countries will have to become allies of peace in Congo and not competitors or proxies for Congo's immense resources. For this to happen, they must trade with Congo above the table, not take from Congo below the table. That's a tall order, especially if Congo's government and army cannot secure every square inch of Congo.
The compact we're signing today, which will be known as the Washington Accords, everybody sort of liked that name, formalizes the terms agreed to in June, including a permanent ceasefire, the disarmament of non-state forces, provisions for refugees to return to their homes, and justice and accountability for those who have committed illegal atrocities. Very importantly, this agreement also creates a new framework for economic prosperity. There's tremendous wealth in that beautiful earth. It's beautiful earth, but it was stained badly with blood, tremendous amounts of blood.
That's the fourth thing. It's answering the question, how do you secure peace in the short and mid-term? Disarmament shoots to the top of the list. Disarmament is critical. There are dozens of rebel groups in Congo. They are armed by different geopolitical players through elaborate, intricate, shadowy networks that the Congolese government has no control over. That's why this accord must tell us how these different geopolitical players will work together to achieve disarmament. They include the United Nations, the United States, the European Union, the African Union, and several others. They must work together to achieve disarmament. These same players must also speak to the matter of justice and accountability for those who committed atrocities. That will be the tallest order, but it must be addressed. Then there's the issue of refugees. Those who want to return home must be fully facilitated to do so. Those who are afraid of returning home must not be forced to return.
I'd like to now invite President Kagame to...
If Trump doesn't even know Kagame's name, I wonder if he truly knows what it will take to achieve peace in Congo. Anyway, let's now listen to Rwanda's President, Paul Kagame, not Kagame.
But of course, the biggest vote of thanks goes to President Donald Trump. No one was asking President Trump to take up this task. Our region is far from the headlines. But when the President saw the opportunity to contribute to peace, he immediately took it.
I call it the Trump adoration. Every leader meeting Donald Trump must dish out Trump adoration if they hope to have a cordial, productive meeting.
We have the clearest and most viable path forward that we have ever had.
That's a major endorsement for this peace deal. After we are done listening to Kagame, we shall see if Congo's president will also give this peace deal a resounding endorsement.
It's up to us in Africa, working with our partners to consolidate and expand this peace. There will be ups and downs on the road ahead. There is no doubt about it. Rwanda, I know, will not be found wanting. I can assure you of that.
Rwanda will not be found wanting. I can assure you of that. We shall hold him accountable to those words. A major part, probably the most important part, of not being found wanting is to deal with the M23 issue once and for all. Will Rwanda ensure that M23 disarms? What will then happen to those rebels? Herein lies the fifth thing that must be addressed fully if this peace deal is to hold. Just a quick one before I go on. Last year, I wrote a book about historic African leaders like Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Julius Nyerere, and of course, Ibrahim Traore. There are nearly 100 of them in that book. Many of you have already bought the book, and I'm very grateful for that. If you haven't bought it, please head on to Amazon and purchase your copy. Both physical and digital copies are available. Thanks a lot.
Our only objective is and has always been for our country to be safe and secure after having endured so much tragedy. We now only want to look forward in confident expectation of a prosperous and stable future.
Rwanda's security is the sixth thing that must be addressed. To my fellow Pan-Africanists, we must distinguish between the individual known as Paul Kagame and the 14 million Rwandan people. We must never forget that practically all Rwandans are still living in the dark shadow of the genocide. They deserve security. Whether you believe that the FDLR rebel group is strong or not, I hope we all agree that 14 million Rwandans should live in total peace and security in their homeland.
Mr. President, Excellencies, I thank you for your kind attention.
Not once did Kagame mention Tshisekedi. Not in his opening remarks, not during his brief speech, and not at the conclusion. Not once. That's a red flag. It seems to me that Kagame truly despises Tshisekedi. Look, I'm no fan of Tshisekedi either, but he is the president of Congo. And as long as he's the president, we all, especially Kagame, we all have to find a way of working with him to secure peace in Congo. Let's now listen to Tshisekedi.
As we have just placed our signatures at the bottom of the joint declaration enshrining the Washington agreements for peace and prosperity, I do feel, on behalf of the people of Congo, a deep gratitude and clear hope.
Hope. Hope. Over the course of 30 years, this hope has been shattered time and again. Will it hold this time? Let's see what Tshisekedi himself thinks.
First of all, I would like to express quite solemnly our deep thanks to the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump. I would like to thank his administration and also wish to thank the American people for the critical role that they played.
See how Donald Trump turns away right there? That's because the Trump adoration wasn't as effusive as Kagame's. That should tell you something. Let's listen some more and see if Tshisekedi will say it out loud or whether we will have to say it for him.
We have President João Manuel Lourenço Gonçalves, who is the President of Angola and the acting President of the African Union. And we also have the former President of the Republic of Kenya, my brother, Uhuru Kenyatta, who I can see here in the room. These two great Africans who are at the beginning, who started the Rwanda and the Nairobi processes.
Tshisekedi clearly prefers the Luanda Peace Accord and the Nairobi Peace Accord, as previously led by Kenya's former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. He doesn't trust Kenya's current president, William Ruto, as he considers him to be a close ally of Kagame. Such are the undercurrents that can easily torpedo this current peace deal.
The Washington agreements are not yet another document. These represent a turning point. They bring together under a coherent architecture a declaration of principles of a peace agreement and the
declaration of principles of a peace agreement. That's a red flag, guys. That's the kind of language that diplomacy employs when it cannot agree on the practices, the actions, the concrete deliverables. I mean, I have a declaration of principles in my life to ensure cardiovascular fitness. But what I really need is a concrete plan of running. Something like 40 or 50 kilometers every single week. I used to do that. Anyway, the point is this: Congo needs a concrete peace plan, not just a declaration of principles.
The Democratic Republic of Congo takes this solemn commitment to implement with complete sincerity all of our obligations that stem from this agreement. We will do this with seriousness, with rigorousness, and also with the constant care for peace and the security of our populations, for the unity and the integrity of our territory.
What is the primary role of any president, any government? It's to secure the lives of citizens. Tshisekedi's primary commitment should be to the security of the Congolese people. The strongest, most direct way of doing so is by having a strong, professional, well-paid, well-armed army. If this pill doesn't move things along in that arena, then Congo will have been shortchanged.
We do hope that thanks with the same seriousness that the Republic of Rwanda will also respect fully the letter and the spirit of the commitments made here in Washington.
What you just heard Tshisekedi say is that his is his diplomatic way of saying that he simply doesn't trust Kagame. He doesn't. On his part, Kagame doesn't respect Tshisekedi. He actually despises him. Yet these are the two guys who are supposed to bring this peace deal home and actualize it.
The Democratic Republic of Congo will fully play its part with dignity, with consciousness and consistency, and with the support of our partners. We will remain watchful, vigilant, but not pessimistic. We'll be clear-eyed, but resolutely optimistic. These Washington agreements for peace and prosperity must be for our peoples a symbol of an irreversible commitment to turn the page of confrontations and to open a new era of cooperation and sustainable peace throughout the region. Thank you.
Watchful, vigilant, but not pessimistic. Clear-eyed. He nailed it. And that's the seventh thing that must happen for this peace deal to hold. We must all remain clear-eyed. In other words, we must never ever bury our heads in the sand. We must keep it real, not sugarcoat it. Kagame and Tshisekedi can't even shake hands when the world is watching. I'm going to be clear-eyed and conclude by saying this. For this peace deal to work, Trump must leave the center stage. It's not about Trump. It's not about his hoped for Nobel Peace Prize. It's also not about Kagame or even Tshisekedi. It's about these Congolese women and children. It's about the millions of Congolese who have died or continue to live under the shadow of death every single day. We all owe it to them to do the best we can to translate this Washington Accord to real and lasting Eastern Congo peace. But if this peace deal doesn't have the people of Eastern Congo at its very center, then we also owe it to them to tear it to shreds. One way or another, we must keep seeking and actualizing peace in Congo. Real peace that prioritizes the people of Congo. My name is DJ Bwakali, and Africa is my superpower.